What's up, everybody? Aaron Stelle here. Hope you had a fantastic 4th of July. Now that we are back, I wanted to roll out this month, July 2024's Client Advantage. And with this one, it's been really interesting what's happened in the market over the last month or so. So in the month of June, we did have rates. They sort of moved around a little bit. It looked like they were going to go down. We got some good kind of momentum going for a second. Everything flattened out. And really what we've been doing is we've been seeing this sort of trend of things just bouncing and staying flat. And what that's really led to is I'm going to go ahead and share the sales advantage real quick so you can get started on seeing what we're trying to accomplish. But inside of this, we're basically kind of leading into this weird thing that Business Insider called the Bizzaro World. And I think this is a great place if we're trying to set ourselves up as the trusted professionals, giving good advice, saying what's really happening in the market. It's something that we really haven't seen before and haven't had a great explanation for, where rates have gone up a little bit, then they've gone down. There's fewer buyers in the market because of that. However, inventory has only slightly come up and prices really haven't come down at all. So it doesn't really follow the lines of supply and demand or traditional norms. And so I think this article does a good job of kind of pointing that out, but it gives us a great place to start a conversation from a real estate professional standpoint. So did want to bring in some localized data. So I used RMLS or the local MLS data. You can always use the Redfin page for your market in order to update this. But it really comes down to, from a leverage standpoint, the same two questions. When are rates going to come down, and when is the market going to crash? And at this point in time, we're still hoping rates can come down any day. It doesn't seem to be happening, so it's probably going to take a little while. And the market is definitely not crashing. It's staying flat at worst. And so that's where you're really going to want to have these conversations start. So if we look at what this actually comes down to and how it looks inside of the actual Client Advantage here, then what we want to do is we want to showcase, like, hey, the first half of 2024 has kind of been all over the map, but as we start the second half, we're still getting the same questions we had when we started, which is, when are housing prices going to drop? Short answer is they're not. And to quote Business Insider, the US housing market has entered the Bizzaro world. So then we talk about nationwide, sales and demand are kind of falling, and yet home prices continue to hit record highs. If we're looking at local statistics, then they're kind of moving around slightly, but the average and median home price in Portland actually went up 2.2 and 1.9 respectively. So at the end of the day, we want to bring it back to the client. So what does this mean to the home seller? So if they're looking to sell, they're probably not going to have a ton of competition still. If they have proper pricing, they're going to get multiple offers or at least sell fairly quickly. If you're considering moving as a buyer, you need to start planning now, because there's not a lot of options in regards to homes to look at. And when rates do drop, there is still that huge expectation that prices are going to surge. So now a long-term strategy is more important than ever. So if you're looking to make a move in the next 12 to 18 months, now is the time to talk. So once again, this is very much a conversation starter piece. So from a text message standpoint, real quick one, do you think your home value is going to drop? Whether they say yes or no, this is an easy time to feed back in and say, like, well, it's something we should look at. Let me give you a little data. So it's an easy time to start a conversation. Social copy, we're going to play off of that whole Bizzaro World thing. Did we just enter the world of Bizzaro or Bizzaro World in real estate? Now you can go in and give some data. Hopefully it starts some conversations, or that is our whole plan within those conversations. So if we jump over here once again and get into what this looks like in a more pretty version, let me go ahead and share this one. The key is we're referring back to the subject line of the Bizzaro World. We are going to talk about localized data, because while we talk about national stuff, we always want to bring it back to the individualized client and where they live. Make it about them. What does it mean to you? Talk about the sellers, buyers. It's going to take a longer term strategy. So that's where the conversation needs to get going. And we do need to start planning now. So we've got the need and we've got the call to action. If we jump over to the text messages, of course, people want to know if their house is going to drop. Okay, good news, it shouldn't, but I do have some information and data that you're going to want to know about. Hopefully this leads to a conversation where they can say, can I give you a quick call? Or they can fire off a few more text messages back and forth. When we dive into the social alternatives, you can see that same text from before. As we've been doing, we created custom images for this. I'll actually show you, we created a couple of them, so that way there are actually two different ones. I chose clearly the one that you're looking at now. But if you're wanting to have one that looks a little bit different, that actually throws the date on there, here is another option for you. The text has a little bit of funkiness to it, which can be attention grabbing, but it also can turn some people off. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you can use either of those. So hope that helps. Hope your clients appreciate this. As always, if you have any questions whatsoever, please do reach out to me, and I am happy to answer questions or any questions that you may have. So have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.